What's going on, guys? We're back today with another video. I hope you guys all enjoyed your guys' Thanksgiving yesterday, but today's upload is going to be 5 tips and tricks how to be the best Call of Duty player you can be in Cold War. Let's hop into it. Welcome to Nuketown 84, everyone. This is where I'll be giving you guys the rundown of the tips and tricks to have the best aim and best movement in Call of Duty Cold War. First off, we're going to have to start off with your dead zones on your controller. If you look right here, the left and right minimum threshold should be at 5. It defaults at 20, and a lot of people will tell you that when they first started playing this game that they felt either input lag, input delay, or felt like someone was just moving the controller for them, and that all comes from this threshold. What you want to do is lower it anywhere from 1 to 5. I play personally at 5 because it feels perfectly fine for me here, but I know people that have experimented lower and a bit higher just on their preference, but that's going to be the number one in your aim settings and to help your movement, because if you have too high of a threshold, your controller is literally going to be moving by yourself, and you don't want any of that. After that, we got to go to where we at here. We got to head down to our aim assist response curve. If you look right here, mine is currently set to standard, but just like Modern Warfare, they implemented this new thing where there's standard, linear, and dynamic. Linear, really no one uses, but you could try it. Maybe it'll work for you. For me personally, dynamic is going to be what we're rocking with. I rocked with dynamic in Modern Warfare, and I was an absolute monster after I threw it on. Some pros even say nowadays that having dynamic on, it literally shoots for you. So if I had to recommend any of the 3, I'd say dynamic. If you don't like dynamic, then I'd go with standard. I'd really stay away from linear. Second off in your guys' settings, we're going to have to go to field of view and ADS field of view. If you guys, I'm pretty sure it starts you on affected, but if it starts you on independent, you really want to switch to affected. It's just going to help you when you aim down sights and it feel much smoother. The independent, it says aiming down sights will zoom the field of view to its intended value. When playing with that, I experimented a little bit. It doesn't feel exactly right. I'll give you guys a little test right here. So this is kind of what it feels like. Shooting feels a bit odd. I just kind of feel like weird on my feet. I don't know. It doesn't feel the same, but it's all preference at the end of the day. But I would have to recommend affected. And then when it comes to field of view, your default field of view, I'm pretty sure is around 80 or 75. I bumped mine all the way up to 100. I think 100 is the perfect value for field of view while playing with a controller. I play multiple PC games. I'm sure some of you guys out there play PC games as well, and when I first load into a PC game, the first thing I change is my field of view, and I usually bump it all the way up to 120. So I'll show you what that does here. I bump it all the way up to 120, and look at, we are super zoomed out, and you're gonna see the maximum amount of screen that you could possibly see, which it'd be good for some people, but I think while playing with a controller, you don't necessarily need to see as much like all this. You really need to focus on your aiming, especially with people having crazy movement around you. But even just from switching this, it feels like I am zooming around the map. I don't know if you guys can tell a little bit more or less than I can, but it looks like I am absolutely zooming. We'll switch back really quick. Oh, yeah, we'll switch back. I thought it changed. I thought this was my field of view for a second, but we'll change back to 100. You're guys gonna see right here, it's much more zoomed in, but it still looks better than it would at 80. Obviously, the lower you go, the more it's gonna zoom in, and the less of the screen you'll see. We're just getting a couple shots in right here. Like I was saying, you want to make sure the threshold, you know, your field of view, and your aim assist behavior is on dynamic. Or, I mean, it comes to preference end of the day, but from most of the pros I've talked with, those are their preferred settings, their preferred ranges. So I'd have to tell you to try it out. Going into our second tip though, I'm gonna have to go with slide canceling. Slide canceling in this game is still good, not as good as Modern Warfare. I'd like to say like Shotzi, Illy, and all those guys really abused the slide canceling at the very beginning of Modern Warfare, and it really turned to everyone abusing it. Basically though, in this game, you can't really pull up your gun as fast. And what you're basically doing is you're double sliding. So you're sliding once. That's what happens when you slide once. You slide far. But if I slide twice, it stops wherever I want to stop. You guys can see, I hope you guys can see that. But yeah, look. So here's a long slide, which is good in certain scenarios. But this is the slide where you click twice. And then you also, at the end of your slide, you want to click your jump button. So you stand back up. Look, I'm sliding here and I stay like crouched. You don't want that to happen. You know, you want to be fast in the map. You want to be fast on your feet. So slide, slide, jump. And then aim, obviously. Slide, slide, jump, aim. Slide, slide, jump, aim. It's pretty easy to do once you get used to it. It's obviously a habit you have to create. But it's going to help you in the long run just knowing that. Knowing that combination of buttons. But the next thing I'm going to come to is with the slide canceling, you really don't want to do it a lot in Cold War. Especially if you're a submachine gun player like me. You don't want to slide because ARs are just pre-aim heavy, and if you walk around a corner, they're going to be pre-aiming you, and that sliding, that extra half a second or second, is really going to cost you from, you know, lighting them up with your gun, actually. But certain scenarios, like, look, I'm sliding around a corner, maybe I'm going to catch him off guard. Or if you're just moving around the map, maybe you want to slide. That is up to you, but yeah, slide canceling, you need to know that combo because it's going to help you in certain gunfights. But ultimately, you want to pre-aim a lot. Pre-aiming is going to get you the most kills majority of the time. Even like now, like sliding around mid-map, it's kind of just cost me time where I really could just be standing here and turning around, gunning everyone. As you guys can see though, we are just playing bots. You know, I'm trying to just give you guys a little rundown. They're not shooting back really at me, but sliding will help you in certain scenarios, but pre-aiming will reign supreme 90% of the time. Going into our third tip and trick, this is going to be majority for sub players. ARs, it's very hard to strafe in gunfights, but personally, I feel like I'm one of the better strafing subs in the league. I really rely on moving side to side in gunfights to outgun my opponents. And what that's going to look like is really my personal favorite is while I'm taking a gunfight, say I'm taking this guy, strafing the same way. So what happens is if someone is strafing the same way, that means you have to follow them in the same direction, which most people get caught off guard. It sounds very simple, but you guys would be surprised at how much it catches people off guard. Look, let's see this guy, right? If he was going side to side, all I'd have to do is this, you know? If he's going in one direction, I have to go like that, which is much harder for someone to keep up with and for someone to predict, matter of fact. And what goes along with that is when you're coming out of doorways, strafing one direction is going to camera everyone. And if you guys don't know what cameraing is, basically giving you an advantage where you see them before they see you, or you can react faster than they can react type deal. There's multiple different cameras in each COD. The slide canceling is basically a camera in itself. So that's why it's always handy to know it. But look, I'm going to come around this corner, and if I strafe... Okay, well, that really didn't work. But if I come around this corner and I strafe one way, it's going to be hard for him to kill me. And the 74U isn't the best strafing gun. It is a bit slower speed. Here, we'll take out the MP5. Wow, I can't even do that. We'll die really quick. And then I'll take out the MP5 and show you. You want to kill me, man? These bots aren't the brightest, guys. They're really not. They're really not. There we go. There we go. All right, so MP5 a little more versatile here. Come around a corner. You're going to want to strafe one way. So you see how fast I'm actually moving when I'm strafing the one way compared to, you know, going side to side. It doesn't really help much. Come around a corner. Strafe one way. See, these are just bots. It's hard to put into a real setting. But strafing one way is what's going to make you win the gunfights you honestly shouldn't win, which is a big thing when it comes to competitive Call of Duty. You know, if I'm outgunning my opponents, then the times where they shouldn't, it's going to give our team the biggest of upper hands. All right, guys, tip number 4 for Cold War is going to be part of your movement. In this game, actually, when you're running around the map, say you want to hit a rush route, basically what you want to do is not slide, which is going to be hard. It's hard to get out of the habit of just not sliding around the map, especially when we were talking about earlier, the slide canceling and stuff. But in Cold War, you actually move faster over time while sprinting. And when you slide, you ruin that like chain effect of where it thinks you're like running or sprinting. So you're gonna want to just keep running if you're gonna hit a rush route, and that is gonna help you get to places a second or two sooner than your opponent. Say if they're sliding, and that's gonna be the upper hand that you're gonna need, especially in an S&D break off or even a hardpoint break off, to get that upper hand and start out strong. Another thing I can recommend is, if you look on any of my subclasses, you're going to see that I have a speed grip on. The speed grip also makes your sprinting move speeds faster. So with you running and not sliding plus the speed grip, you're going to be as fast as you possibly can be, which is ultimately the goal on a break off of a round. Going into our last trick, guys, this wasn't very good in the last title, Modern Warfare, but in Black Ops 4 and in Black Ops Cold War, this really reigned supreme, and we saw some pro players like Scraps really showcase why he did this during gunfights, and that's going to be crouch shotting. Crouch shotting, it's basically just going to throw your opponent off, and if they're aiming at your upper torso or your head, then they're going to miss those 1 or 2 bullets that could potentially save your life. In this game, too, it's very OP, just like Black Ops 4. I mean, you can spam it. You get a little stuck, but ultimately, I like doing this little jump into my crouching. It makes me feel like I'm in the zone. One of my coaches, Joey Nubsy, actually, from my Gen G team, said whenever he saw me doing my jumps and crouches, he knew I was cracked. He knew I was in the zone and ready to play. So you jump around the corner, hit a couple crouch shots. It's going to throw them off too, especially, if you guys have seen my other videos about the 74U, you guys know the 74U is probably the medium range sub for this game. You have your MP5, which is super close range, and then your 74U is really going to help you in medium and long range gunfights, even though you probably shouldn't be taking the long range gunfights with it, because ARs probably will kill you 70% of the time. But on the off chance the AR is missing bullets, like missing a few bullets already, and you hit them with a crouch shot, it's going to be even harder for them to gun you, which ultimately is our goal here. Better movement is going to help you win the gunfights you shouldn't. Basically, whole tips of this video, cammering, slide canceling, crouch shotting, it's all going to help when it comes to those close gunfights where he's one shot, you're one shot. Who's gonna miss the bullet that's gonna screw everything up? But yeah, guys, that's gonna be it for this tips and tricks video. I hope this will really help you excel in Black Ops Cold War. I know all three of those movement things, besides the setting, really is what helps me excel my gameplay and win the gunfights that I shouldn't, and get those crazy clips that I know you guys see. So if you guys are new here, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and tell me if you guys knew about these or if you learned something new today. And you guys all have a good rest of your day. Peace, guys.